Okay. There we go. All right, Joe, where you at?
Here, I gotta tilt your head. Hold on for a second. Get your head tilted.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. Like Jim Lee said, keep it up. We'll be back.
Okay. It's still adding. There we
There we
go.
go.
I had to rotate.
Huh?
Huh?
I had to rotate my phone. Wait, let's see.
No, you're
No,
upside
you're
down.
upside down.
I'm still
I'm
echoing,
still
Steve.
echoing, Steve. What?
And yeah, I'm still
I'm
echoing.
still echoing. But you know what?
Are you sure?
Are you sure?
Okay. Let me see.
Let me see.
Yep, still.
Yep, still. You suck.
Oh, it sounds
Oh, it sounds
horrible.
horrible. Is it?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
What is that?
What is that?
Okay, just.
Okay, just.
You ready,
You
Joe?
ready, Joe?
I can't hear
I can't
you.
hear you.
Can you hear me?
Sounds horrible.
Sounds horrible.
Can you hear me?
Hold on.
Hold on.
Let me see. Talk, Joe.
Talk, Joe? You gotta put the volume on your earpiece.
I can't hear
I
Joe.
can't hear Joe.
Talk, Joe.
Talk, Joe.
Can you hear me?
Barely.
Barely.
Really?
Okay, talk.
Okay, talk.
Can you hear me?
I could hear you, but
I
it's
can hear
like
you,
kind of
but
like
it's kind of
distant.
like distance.
Why, I wonder. I'm trying to get the phone set up so that. Why are we this way? Is that bothering? Can you hear me?
Yeah, your daughter Shay said put on
Put on
headphones.
headphones.
She's on YouTube? How do you know?
Because she just
Because
put it
she
on,
just put it in the
put it in the comments.
comments.
Of course she did.
That's why. That's the problem.
She's putting headphones on.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Can you hear
What the hell
me?
are you laughing at, first of all? Yes.
Oh,
I
my
can hear you.
God. We're not echoing. I'm not echoing.
No. So that's the thing. You got to have your viewers wear echoes. I mean, wear
Yes.
headbands, and then there's
Yes.
no echo.
All right. All right. So for the next, Stephanie said perfect. So for the next interview, you got to have headphones in. Oh, my goodness. We figured it out.
Yeah, it'd be nice if I
That's,
had like those earbuds, but whatever.
yeah. All right. Thank you all for watching. You on with myself and with Jill. Jill is an amazing person. She is a 10-year lung cancer survivor. She does great and wonderful things for the lung cancer community. Um, I'm going to have Jill share her story. She has an amazing story. What she's done for lung cancer, she's actually was, what were you, like president or for longevity at one point, correct?
I was an
Yes.
original board member, yes.
Yes.
To
So
also,
she's
yes.
gonna talk about that and just share her amazing story. We might go over half hour, but that's okay because you got to hear this woman's story.
I'll try to keep it short.
Yeah. So I
If it
give
is
you
quite long.
all, Jill, and please invite people to watch this video. And when we're done, share it, share it, share it. Okay. Go ahead, Jill. Take it away.
Thank you, Juanita. So as I said, my story is quite long, but it actually, even though I was diagnosed with lung cancer 10 years ago, I consider myself a lung cancer survivor for 36 years. When I was 13, I lost two grandparents to lung cancer within weeks of diagnosis and literally weeks of each other. And then just 6 months after that, my dad was diagnosed with lung cancer, and he died 3 months later at the age of 41. When I was in my 20s, my Aunt Dee Dee, who was like a second mom to me, was diagnosed with lung cancer. And thankfully, it was caught early. She had surgery. She was considered cured. 2 years later, they found another cancer on Dee Dee in Dee Dee's lungs. Again, it was caught early. She had surgery and was considered cured. 2 years after that, we actually celebrated a clean scan for Dee Dee, but not for long because that's when we learned that my mom too had developed lung cancer. And it wasn't long and before we knew we weren't going to catch a break this time. And my mom died 6 months later at the age of 54. After losing my dad, losing my mom was literally my worst nightmare come true. I was 28 years old, pregnant with my second child, I had a 15-month-old, but I was lucky to have another mom in Dee Dee. Only less than a year after my mom died, Dee Dee was diagnosed with lung cancer for a third time. And she died a year and a half later at the age of 56. Needless to say, I was bitter, I was angry, I was a hot mess. My husband and I and our three kids at the time had just moved from the city of Chicago to the suburbs. And I tried to get involved in advocacy. I called American Lung Association. I could not find any other lung cancer organizations that were dedicated to research. And I literally was lost. And coincidence or fate, Longevity Foundation had just gotten off the ground in my community, and I got involved. I had no control over my losses, but I found that the advocacy work I did gave me control, and it empowered me to turn my negative feelings into action and make a difference. The other control I had was to be my own advocate. When my mom was first diagnosed, I was like, no way is this coincidence. No way, my dad and his dad, and now my mom, my grandma, and she, and my aunt, all diagnosed with lung cancer. So I talked to different doctors. Most agreed there was no hereditary risk, no genetic link to lung cancer. But pulmonologists that treated my mom and my aunt and also my internist agreed, well, why don't you just start getting scanned? So I did periodic scans every 3 years, and it wasn't easy to do. I went to the doctor, and I had this lingering cough that wouldn't go away, which is how insurance paid for my first couple of scans. And then I had every 3 years I had a scan, and for some reason I waited like 4.5 years for the third scan. And sure enough, on that scan, they found something. And we watched it for 3.5 years. I wasn't, at the time, I was already involved with longevity and I was on the board, but for some reason, I wasn't afraid of it. I felt like I had the knowledge, I had the contacts. But when the doctor said that they didn't like the way the scan looked, it was time to take it out. I went into surgery thinking, okay, I got this, whatever it is. But I was 39 years old at the time. I had 4 young kids, and I was president of longevity when I was diagnosed with lung cancer. The same disease that I literally watched kill both my mom and dad and so many others I loved. It's like, to me, it was like if my life were a movie, you would walk out and say, that does not happen in real life. But, you know, it was real and it was my life.
Yeah.
At the time, thankfully, the cancer was caught early. I had surgery and I was considered cured. I was shocked. I was upset and in disbelief. I mean, how could I not be, right? But I honestly thought it would be different for me. I was going to beat lung cancer. I was going to change that pattern in my family. And there was a lot of talk at the time around early, you know, kind of early detection and long-term survival with early detection. I was prepared to be the proof. I mean, I was going to be the poster child for early detection, the story of hope that lung cancer patients and their families desperately needed. And that was in 2009. And around that time, molecular testing was becoming more common. And there was some excitement around using Tarceva as adjuvant therapy for stage 1 surgical patients with the EGFR mutation, which was me. My kids were 6, 8, 10, and 12 at the time, and I needed to be able to look them in the eyes and know I did everything in my power to fight this disease. So after the surgery, I went on Tarceva for about 15 months. I went off Tarceva. My first scan was good, but it was literally about 6 months after I stopped taking it that another cancer was found in another part of my lungs. It was considered another primary because of the time between the two diagnoses of the cancer. So they thought, okay, let's get this out. And so I had another surgery, and it was, again, thought to be an early cancer, and I was thought to be cured. Never did I imagine that at my follow-up scan after that, there would be more nodules in my lungs. I was devastated, especially because the strategy we had to go to was from cure to manage. And I was no longer a stage 1 patient. I felt defeated. I was supposed to be that poster child. I was supposed to be that story of hope for patients and families. And I was scared for myself, but even more so for my kids. Like, what did that mean for them? Will they lose a parent at a young age? Will they ultimately be diagnosed with lung cancer? You know, there's all these scary uncertainties and worries and the unpredictable future, right, that are going through my head nonstop. And they were completely out of my control, of course. And the anxiety certainly wasn't going to change what the next scan showed or what the future would be, but it was all consuming and I couldn't help it. I was miserable and it was truly no way to live. I was lucky to be alive, but I wasn't living. And At the time, of course, I was still involved in lung cancer advocacy. I had taken a little bit of a break. And I thought, and a lot of people thought, okay, take a break. Don't let this be your whole entire life. But the reality was, lung cancer does not take breaks. And it was the only control I had. It was the only way I could choose what role lung cancer was going to play in my life. You know, the positive attitude approach has never been for me because I'm too realistic and pragmatic. And plus, I feel like it puts too much burden on the patient. But that was a good thing because that's where my stubborn and competitive side came in. I had decided, you know what, lung cancer has beaten me down time and time again. And it now has control over my body, but I refuse to let it control my emotions or dictate how I lived. So since then, as far as my health is concerned, as some of the cancers got aggressive, I've treated three of them with stereotactic body radiation therapy. Um, I, I had 5 years ago had many discussions with different doctors, and I would say 9 out of 10 thought, you know what, it was time for me to go back on Tarceva. And I really wasn't ready to do that. I, I would rather do the watch and wait. I was definitely, many said to me, you're to treat the disease, not the scan. And treating the disease would be suppressing the cancer. But when this all started and when the cancer kept coming back, I was about to go work at camp in the summer. And I was like, this was 5 years ago. I said, no way. Can I go back on that and then go spend the summer in the sun? And they all, pretty much thought I was nuts. Thankfully, my nurses helped advocate for me. And when I returned from camp, my doctor, who Feldman at Rush has been, has so much experience and is truly, my whole team treats the patient, not the disease. And he sat down, he had an honest talk with me and said, you know what, if you really don't want to go back on it, I've seen this, that, and the other and other cancers. And let's wait and see. There is some promise around targeted radiation. So that's what we've been doing, and I've been very fortunate. Well, up on my last scan, I did have some progression in my lungs, so I'm kind of waiting to see what to do with that. But I, otherwise, for the past couple of years, remained stable. Been very, very, very lucky. And so we'll see when I have my next scan what the next step brings. But regardless, again, I've been living with it for 10 years. And while early detection didn't result in a cure for me like I had hoped, it has allowed us to manage the disease. It has allowed me to take, treatment holidays and live pretty much, take away some of the side effects of treatments and the emotional part of it, a normal life. So I'm grateful for that. I, go back and talk a little bit about the advocacy. I remember walking into the first meeting that I went to for longevity in 2001. I was pregnant with my fourth child. Mind you, it was only a year after my aunt had died, and so I was still bitter and angry. And I walked in there, it was at a library. They had just gotten off the ground, had their first benefit. And I walked in with a friend of mine from Deerfield who introduced me. And four of the founders had already died. They died before the first benefit because that was lung cancer, like my parents and my grandparents. But one of the founders was a young woman by the name of Melissa Zagon, 32 years old. Beautiful. She was there with her husband, her 3-year-old daughter. She had like this effervescent smile, beautiful blue eyes, and was just really upbeat and happy. And I will be completely honest with all of you, and I don't say this out loud very much, but I walked out of that meeting miserable, pregnant, and I said to my girlfriend, and I'm a bit ashamed, but again, this was 2001, said, what the hell is she so happy about? She probably won't be alive in 6 months. That's exactly where I was, though, at that point. And it was horrible, but I knew everything about Missy, but what I didn't know was the extraordinary way in which she responded to her illness and how that would change me. I mean, she took her journey with lung cancer. I mean, there was no other organization in the country. She took her journey with lung cancer from personal to public. She became the first face of courage for thousands of people, and she changed lives with her hope and wisdom. And my relationship with her quickly evolved into a unique friendship that extended beyond longevity. And interestingly enough, my brother and my cousin Daisy, who many of you know, said to me, how could you become friends with her knowing that you will suffer another loss from lung cancer? And honestly, I mean, I hadn't really thought about it. Missy and I had discussed many times that lung cancer would kill her. We just didn't know when. But really, truly, I found incredible support and empowerment through my friendship with Missy and my work with longevity. And it may have been easier to walk away, but I couldn't. I knew in my heart that lung cancer was so much bigger than my story and what lung cancer had done to me. So, through that friendship and through my work, I learned I did not have to cure lung cancer to make a difference, to change a life. Missy shared with me feelings and fears that she didn't want to burden her family with. And as painful as it was, that was when I first learned that helping someone live and die with peace in their heart is a gift. And that was a gift I'll cherish forever. And, as longevity grew and the community grew and even, other organizations came about, when it came full circle and I was diagnosed with lung cancer, I was shocked, but I wasn't helpless and I wasn't hopeless. My relationships in the community, armed me with knowledge and contacts. And so, I really felt like I was able to face the diagnosis differently than obviously when my family, was first diagnosed. And I think about that a lot with newly diagnosed people and with our Hope Summit, our Hope Summit family. I mean, or even the people who haven't been to Hope Summit, but that are part of our lung cancer family. There's nothing like connecting with someone else in the trenches.
Right.
From the outside looking in, nobody can understand. And from the inside out, you can't explain. It's like none of us voluntarily joined the tribe, but we all belong and we get it in a way that no one else can who has not lived it. And, I think that a lot of times, people want to know, they're afraid to get involved or they're afraid of the losses. But I will tell you that fighting alone is a lot harder. And being a part of this community is truly, you are not alone in this. Nobody is alone in this fight, and people are here to support you. And I think that if anybody, I sit back and I watch what goes on in Facebook, and I see the undeniable, strength and love wrapped around each and every person. There's nothing more powerful than that. So I encourage everybody to really get involved in the community and to get involved in advocacy. Hope is a word I never used to associate with lung cancer, because in my experience there wasn't any. I didn't even believe there was much hope when I was first diagnosed, but I do now, and the hope is real. And I even tattooed it with hope. I even tattooed it, if you could see it, on my arm. I mean, things have changed, and they continue to change in lung cancer. There we are. And there have been more advancements in the past 10 years than there were in 30 years before that. I go back to when my family was first diagnosed. Patients had probably 3 options: chemotherapy, radiation, and surgery. And it wasn't even until around the time my mom was diagnosed that combination therapies were an option. And most of the time, really, it was discussed whether it was worth it, because a lot of side effects sometimes were worse than the disease itself. And so now we're looking at targeted therapies and immunotherapies and targeted radiation and better imaging. And all of them are prolonging and bettering our lives. I always say, my dad died 3 months after he was diagnosed with lung cancer, and my mom died 6 months after she was diagnosed with lung cancer. What if their cancer was caught early, or if there were targeted therapies available? Maybe my dad would have lived 3 more weeks and been there to see me graduate 8th grade, or maybe even long enough to see me graduate high school, right? I mean, people are living 5 years. That is a real possibility. Or maybe my mom would have lived 6 more months and been there for the birth of my daughter, or long enough to see all of her grandchildren be born. And those are the treasured moments and milestones that were stolen from them and from me. But really, truly, because of a better understanding of the disease, advancements in research, better therapies, a year and a half ago, I lived to see my 4th and last child graduate 8th grade. That is what hope is, and that is what hope looks like. And so my message truly is hope. And the 3 areas of hope are the community. You find hope in the community. You find hope in the research. It's real. And I think hope in advocacy as well. No amount of therapy could have ever helped me through my losses or my own diagnosis the way that my advocacy work has. And right now, for me, one of the most meaningful things I do still is help newly diagnosed patients and their family navigate, talk to newly diagnosed patients and their families. I don't want anyone to ever feel helpless and hopeless like my family did. And the advocacy work I started with was fundraising. There was nothing else. Longevity had one benefit. My cousins and I started a golf outing. I mean, that was it in the beginning. And now there are so many opportunities to get involved in sharing your story and the first step could be participating, going to a walk or an event. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I knew somebody here in the area who I supported for several years. She went to Breathe Deep every year. She kind of hid in the background, but that didn't matter. She went and she had a team.
Yep.
She, that was how she did it. That was her part. You know,
Mm-hmm.
research advocacy is something that I've really gotten involved in, and I hated science in high school, and I was horrible. But when it's your lifeline, you learn
Yeah.
to learn
Mm-hmm.
it. Um, research advocacy, there are, I mean, you could get involved with their hospitals. There are so many organizations. Each one
Yes.
of them is wonderful, and they are doing different things. And take that control, empower yourself. It
Mm-hmm.
really, truly makes a difference and allows you to choose the role that lung cancer will play in your life.
Exactly.
So that is, that's my story, and that's kind of my message of hope, I guess.
Yes. It's a great message, Jill. Thank you for sharing your story. It's amazing. I told you guys that she had an amazing story. I met Jill it will be 4 years ago or five in April, this
For
April.
yeah,
Is it four? Or, I can't add.
yeah,
I was going to to the first Hope Summit, and a little story they had told her that I was like, well, I was kind of afraid of flying, but not that,
yeah.
and not that bad, but I was a little afraid, and made it seem like I was like this, I don't know, gentle lamb or something, I don't know, and then Jill's like, there's nothing wrong with this girl. This girl's crazy as hell.
I
I mean,
was like, this girl is nuts. Yes, yes. And but you know what was so beautiful about that is I I got to see you, and I get to see every year. And I have to say, a lot of times I teeter a lot between wearing that advocate only hat and the patient advocate hat. And a lot of times when I go to events, I have that advocate hat on because I'm telling you, first 8, 9 years I was involved in advocacy, we were lucky to get 5, 6 lung cancer survivors in a room together, let alone over 100.
right.
And what I love to see there is I love to see people who, of course, anyone diagnosed, you walk in and you're nervous and you're scared. And literally, it's like inflating a balloon by the end of the
Mm-hmm.
weekend. You know, it transforms people.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always wondered why people refer to their cancer diagnosis as a gift, because gifts are supposed to be exciting and fun. So I say if lung cancer were a gift, I would have returned it a hell of a long time ago. But I do believe in silver linings. And
Uh-huh.
in the very dark cloud of lung cancer, there are silver linings. And that is one of the biggest silver linings. And the brightest is really, truly the lifelong friendships and relationships with people I would have never met if it weren't for lung cancer. Friends who understand me in a way that nobody else can, and friends that I can't imagine my life without. So
Exactly.
that's, I believe, what hope is, you know.
Right.
So,
Look
and
forward to every
what?
April because I know that I'm gonna see you guys.
What? You're echoing a
I don't know. It
little
keeps
now.
pausing.
The
Again, I
tape
am?
keeps pausing.
Yeah. Okay,
Okay,
what?
now there you are. Yeah,
Okay.
it really is. It really is a gift, and it's hard for me to put into words. When I go back again to the beginning of my advocacy, it was blood, sweat, and tears. Nobody cared about lung cancer. Nobody wanted to listen to anything about lung cancer. It was one step forward, 10 steps back. Literally an uphill battle. Just trying to get people to care about it, to understand it, to treat it as a disease, to erase the stigma. And, as longevity grew and more organizations, were started, and truly the internet and social media, that has allowed our community to grow. That has allowed us to make more noise, and research has allowed us to live longer. So now we, have this voice and we have this community. And I truly am overwhelmed with emotion when I see how far we've come. And, for me personally, I definitely often think about my parents and how different it could have been for them. I also think about the founders of longevity, like Missy and Kay, and Patty is still alive, thank you God. And those were the only three that I met, but even the other four, like, their legacy is incredible. Their vision has become a reality. And, I feel like there's this undeniable strength, love, and spirit that's like woven together, wrapped around all of us. And it's firm and it's fierce. And that's hope, knowing that you're not alone and believing that nothing, not even cancer, can defeat the human spirit. And, with each soul we touch, a part of ours is renewed, and that's the strength in it.
Exactly. Exactly. So there
So,
you have it, my audience. Jill, with her amazing story and her hard work with advocacy. For my lung cancer brothers and sisters watching, if you're not involved, please get involved. We need more of us. I mean, Jill and I and Ivy and Diane and Tracy and Bobby and Terry. I mean, we could do it, but we need more of you. We got Lisa, who, she still does her advocacy work, but yet she's still doing chemo. We got the other Lisa Goldman, we got Janet and Lene that do amazing works, but we need more of you guys. Come on, step it up. Step it up. You
and
guys could do it.
and that's the good point is, we all have an important story that needs to be
Yes.
told. Individually, our stories don't mean anything, but collectively, the bigger story is what we need. And that is
Yes.
one of, I think, the best things that people can do. Our stories are unique to us, and they're a part of what the reality of lung cancer is. So
Yeah.
I encourage more and more people too to share your story with Juanita. I think,
Yes.
how beautiful would it be to have this collective, you know, video, which I hope you're downloading all of these somewhere and
Yes,
keep
I
them
am.
and save them. Okay. To have everybody's story of lung cancer, different ages, different sexes, different races, to everything.
Yes.
Yet we're brought together, by lung cancer, and that is the bigger story. And
Yes.
I think it's really important that we all share our story. And it's the first step, I believe, in really advocacy. It's the first big step, because you are vulnerable when you share your story. And that's okay. And I say that's okay, but I of course don't like to be vulnerable and try every way I can not to be. But that it for me, it really truly has helped me make sense of everything I've gone through, and it's giving any emotional or physical pain that I've suffered from the, time I was 13. It's given it a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is, you have to be comfortable in the way you do it, but I think that really helps with reconciling with what you're going through,
Right.
if
And I
that makes
believe
sense.
that, and I believe that from the age of 13 to now, you know, God was just steering you in that path. And unfortunately, you had to get diagnosed. But look at the difference you are making, Jill. Look at your advocacy work, just all these years. But God prepare you for this day, for this moment, and the future. I truly believe that
Knock on
we're
wood.
making an impact in the lung cancer world. Our voice, our face, sharing our story. That's why I wanted to do these interviews, and I start them right away because this is how we're going to get the word
Yep.
out. And
And
then
for the
more,
next generation, too.
yes,
Like,
exactly,
I mean,
exactly.
I worry a lot about my kids, but everybody's kids and everybody else's kids, what we do now. And I've seen that with even just, since I've started my advocacy work 18 years ago. I can't imagine 18 years from now if so much has happened in these 18 years. We can truly, truly make
Yes,
this if not a cure, then a truly manageable chronic disease.
yes,
And
yes. But we're going for that cure, girl. I pray for that
we
cure.
are. And I want to say, kind of one more thing about the stigma. One thing that I don't
Hmm.
really talk about. When I first got involved, I knew somebody else in my family was going to end up with lung cancer, right? I mean, between either my two brothers or my cousins. I didn't think it was going to be me. I thought it would be my brother. I have a brother who's 18 months older than I am. We come from the same exact mold. And he's mentally ill. He's been smoking. He rolls his own cigarettes, and he's been smoking since he's been 16. He's 50, and he still smokes. And I thought, and I knew there was no way, with mentally ill people, a lot of times that is their life, that is their best friend. And I knew he wouldn't ever stop smoking. But I thought, well, okay, if I get involved, maybe I, it could help him when he's diagnosed. He does not have lung cancer. He was never diagnosed with lung cancer. In fact, I used to go with him every 6 months to his pulmonologist, waiting to hear that he had lung cancer. And when it was my scan that was ominous, I was actually at an appointment with him. So I was really shocked, to say the least. But, you know, the reason I really don't use that story or say that a lot is I think a lot of people understand how I feel about using the stigma to try and erase the stigma and kind of how it can backlash.
Hmm. Hmm.
But I do feel that, you know, we all have to do whatever we can do to erase the stigma.
Hmm.
And I want that to be even, I want it to be the same for people, anybody, even who has any kind of smoking history. It does not matter. That's not what your story is about. Your story is
Yes,
about the disease,
yes,
because 98% of people who smoke do not get lung cancer. So, what
yes.
is it about those 2% that do? And how many
Hmm.
of them would have gotten it anyway from exposure to other carcinogens? So, please, if anybody's listening, I feel that a lot of times anyone with a smoking history doesn't want to get involved in advocacy because of that. Please, please get involved in advocacy. First
Yes.
of all, nobody in the community cares. Nobody deserves this horrendous disease, regardless of what your risk factor was, your story matters, and your story is about
Mm-hmm.
your diagnosis of the disease. And it, you know, when you're watching someone you love suffer physically and
Mm-hmm.
emotionally till they take their last breath, does that matter? Does it matter? No, it doesn't matter. And nobody should deserve less sympathy, or your loss is no less. So
Right.
that is one thing that I really, really wish more people would get involved and tell their stories.
Yes. So please take Joe's advice and share your story with me. I do it every Thursday. I let you pick either at 8 or 8:30 Central Time. Um, I forgot who I'm interviewing next Thursday, but I will post it on my Juanita's Fight Against Lung Cancer page, and I also post it on my personal Facebook page, and then I tag whoever it is. If you want to share your story, please let me know. Reach out to me. Either you can message me through my page here. You can message me through my personal Facebook page. Um, if you can't find me, you could just Google me. Literally, you'll find me. I do own my own CrossFit, so look for my CrossFit page on Facebook, Region Rec CrossFit. You can message me there, or you could call me. But don't be giving my number out. Yeah, right. I'm just gonna say it, and the whole world's gonna have it. But
No,
you could
don't give your
call.
number out. People will find you.
I know, right? If you have my number, call or text me. If you don't, someone has it. They'll give it to you.
Message you.
Yeah, but message me. I am extremely busy. I have my own business and I do this, but I do it because this is my passion. I do it because not only do I want to live longer, I want Jill and all my lung cancer brothers and sisters out there, my community, I want them to live longer. I want them to see milestones in their life like I have, like Jill has. I didn't think they told me I was gonna see 50. They told me I wasn't gonna meet any of my grandchildren. I wasn't even gonna see my kids graduate. Well, my youngest one is graduating this year. I'm here. I have my first granddaughter, and Steve did not bring her for you to see her, Jill. She didn't make an
Why?
appearance. I don't know where he's at. He's playing with her, I think.
That's rude.
And I got to see 50, and I opened up my own business, guys, and I do CrossFit. I still work out. I own my own CrossFit. You know, Besides that, I sell the famous paparazzi jewelry, and I just keep busy. But my passion is advocating for lung cancer because we matter too, and I want to grow old. Jill wants to grow. We all want to grow old together. Old ladies taking trips. Why not, right? I mean, when
Right?
we travel, we have a blast. Jill and I
Mm-hmm.
just got back from LA for LCFA, that's Lung Cancer Foundations of America. We're under Speakers Bureau, and we went for a workshop, and it was just it was such an intimate workshop.
It
I
was.
mean,
It
oh
was
my God, I can't
inspiring.
even
It was
explain it. I
intimate,
just
right?
Yes, it was oh my God, yes, it's very intimate, so inspiring. I mean, we were all sitting on couches, just relaxing with blankets and learning, and they're teaching us, and we're just, I don't know, I can't explain it. I just loved it. It was like one of my favorite so far. What do you want to call it? A conference or whatever slash workshop. It was one of the best, and I left there so happy and so full of joy and love. And
Right.
right? It was just
Yeah,
like,
and
and I
it
can't
was,
stop.
it was, and it was,
Yeah.
and it was really informative,
Yes.
inspiring, and
Yes.
fun, and you know, I took away a lot from there. I learned a lot. I feel like we all learned a lot from each
Yes.
other, and it was so well done. Yes.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was just awesome. I had a blast, and I can't stop thinking about it. I keep talking about it, you know, talking about the white couches and sofas and just that. Oh my God, we were
Well,
treated like queens.
in the picture of the nine of us, where we're all holding up how many fingers, how many years of
Years.
survival.
Survivor.
And combined, that equaled 51 years.
Wow.
And I can confidently tell you that, go back 10 years, 10, 12 years, and that wouldn't, that picture wouldn't have happened. And
No,
that's what's so beautiful
it
about it.
was.
And it was a very, neat group. I thought it was a
Yes.
neat group.
Yes, it was. Yeah, I loved it. I love spending time with my sisters. It was just amazing. And then, of course, the staff and of LCFA, all of them, they were just wonderful. And it was very well organized, and she was on schedule. Wasn't
Kim?
she?
Oh,
Yeah.
or Sarah, yeah, Kim and Sarah,
Sarah,
yeah,
yeah, there you go,
like us,
Sarah.
yeah,
She was
yeah,
on
yeah, yeah, yeah,
schedule.
yeah.
She's like,
That
we're
was,
doing it.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
There's
that was
never
it was
enough
great.
time, right?
No,
There's
but it
never,
was it was nice. And then we got
and
to see the Academy Awards.
yeah, and there are
Yeah.
so many opportunities like that out there, and
Yes, there is.
and another opportunity, if anybody's interested in research advocacy, is the International Association of the Study of Lung Cancer, their world conference. They're accepting grants right now for people who want to attend. And Juanita, you did that last year.
Yes. Yes,
It's an
last year I
incredible
attended. I
experience.
actually won the grant. And
Yes.
I was in Canada, in Toronto, and
Yes.
Joan was there, and Ivy, Laura, Janet, Lisa. There was a bunch of us that went. And
Yeah.
there's a few of the Canadian lung cancer sisters were
Yeah,
there as well.
those girls,
Mary
I love
Ann.
them.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I love them
And
too.
yeah, and Jill
Heather
and
and
Heather, and yeah,
yeah.
they're a
Yeah, that
force
was
to be
awesome.
reckoned with.
Yes.
They really are.
So
I love it.
yes, yeah. So I went to that, and I was very blessed to win their Trevor Ward, and Erin from Wisconsin. She wanted to, and we went. And so they give it to whoever applies. So it was me and Erin from the United States, someone from, I think, India, someone
It was
from,
Vivek from India and
yes,
Caleb
Vivek. There you go.
from South Africa,
Africa. There you go. Yeah.
Nigeria, yeah.
Yeah. It was
And
something like that.
and and I found, or he found me on Twitter. So those of you also who want to who go on Twitter, you don't even have to tweet. You could just lurk.
Yeah.
Hashtag LCSM. You'd be surprised at the amount of information and the people you meet. But yeah,
Yes.
it's an incredible conference that used to be every several years. Then, I don't know, 15 years ago, it was every 2 years. And then it's only been every year the past 5 years. It was Denver, Vienna, Japan, and Toronto. So there's only been four in a
Yes.
row. So that is how quickly and how much is
Yes.
going on and
There
fast
was
things are moving.
thousands. God, I want to say thousands of researchers, oncologists, medical professionals, survivors, you name it. They were there all together
Yeah.
to to for lung cancer. Just to we just need better treatments. The words can't even come out. We just there for put our heads together, all these smart professional people, just to find a cure or better treatments for lung cancer so we could live longer. People don't understand. It is the number one killer in cancer. People argue with me about breast cancer. No, breast cancer survival rate is so high. Ours is not. And just this year alone, I promise you, approximately 230,000 or more will be diagnosed with lung cancer. More than half of that will die, and they die within a year to two. I made it to 4 years, Jill to 10. Those are blessings. Those are blessings. But God, because God has a great purpose for us, and we're doing his purpose here on earth. And so, but that's why I do it, because I want more of them to survive. I
Right.
hate, yes, I hate waking up sometimes and looking or getting a text, so and so passed away. people don't understand. I might not show it, but I'm crying. I'm devastated, but I can't go to my business crying and sad. So I got to put this happy face. But inside, I'm devastated. I'm crying. I'm hurting. Why, Lord? Why? I don't know why, but that's why we do what we do. So
Yeah.
we
More
all can live
people
longer.
need to live to
Yes,
raise their children
yes,
and see
exactly.
their
Too many are dying
grandchildren.
young and
Yeah.
leaving little ones behind. And that's just so devastating. So for any lung cancer brothers and sisters out there, please get involved. Joe just told you the International Association for the Study of Lung Cancer. If you want to attend, go on their website. I think first you have to become a member. You do have
Yep.
to become a
Which
member.
is
So go in
free.
there, which is free,
It's
yes.
free.
So, and it's free for us. Go on there, apply, become a member. They'll send you a cool little card with your name and your member ID number, and then apply for the grant. And guess where they're going this year? Barcelona, Spain.
Barcelona.
And I'm
Yeah.
going. I don't know how I'm going. Right, Jill? We're going.
I Yeah, I
She's
want to
like,
go so bad. I want to
I,
go so badly, trust me. I mean, that's my thing, research. I mean, I hope somehow.
yes,
But yeah, that also, ASCO, the American Society of Clinical Oncology, applications for grants to attend their conference in Chicago in
yes.
June opens on Monday. I do
Okay.
know that as well. And there are so many different opportunities. You can, so many. Doesn't have to be
Yes.
research either, but you can
No,
find a
it
lot of
doesn't.
different, yeah. But we do
Longevity,
need research advocates, yeah.
yes, we do. I kind of got involved in that, and at first it was kind of a struggle, but I did enjoy it. And if that's where God wants me, then I'll do that. I just follow wherever He guides me. Um, Longevity is having their annual Hope Summit, but it's called International something. I can't even remember.
International Lung Cancer Survivor
Conference.
Conference.
There you go.
And it's called that now because it's international, number one. But number two, it started out as Hope Summit. I think the first year, 16 people attended. Now there's hundreds.
Yes.
But there's Hope Summit is for the patients or survivors, whatever you call them, warriors. Cope Summit is for the caregivers or loved ones. And now there's a new track this year that's survivorship. So those are for the people who have lived with the disease and want to learn more about long-term survivorship or dig deeper into the research. So there are these three different tracks to try to, you know, find fit everybody's needs, I guess, is
Right.
the best way to put it. It's going to be awesome again.
Yes. And it's this April. It's not too late. To apply, they also give a travel grant. I don't know how many will get awarded, but it's not too late. So you could go on longevity.org and apply and meet,
Yeah.
Jill and I out there. And, there's a bunch of us going. You could take your caregiver. My husband goes. He's been going for the past 2 years. I've been going for 4. And then I'm also with LCFA, Lung
Yeah.
Cancer Foundation of America. Get involved. They're always looking for someone, to help advocate. So get involved. Go to lcfa.org and, read their mission and, look through our stories are on there. My story's on there. Jill's story. There's a lot of survivor stories are on there, and get involved with them as well. We're involved in several things. I mean, not
Yes.
particularly the same thing, but we're involved in almost, but in several things. And then,
Yeah.
Jill started her own group. She's EGFR. That's her gene mutation. She started that group for anyone that was diagnosed with, that has EGFR. I'm ALK positive, so I'm in another group for, we call ourselves the ALKies or, ALK positive. So, and then if you know your gene mutation, then find those groups and get involved with them, because they too do a lot of advocacy for, to get money for research for that particular oncogene, So get involved, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to contact Jill through Facebook, Messenger, um, or contact me. We could guide you in the right direction. I mean, it's that easy. But please help us. Be that voice. Don't be afraid. Don't sit behind and be like, oh, no, no, girl, come on. Or guy, step it up. Like Gemini, I'm blunt. So, but come on, you guys could do it too.
No, not
No,
you.
I know, not me, right? I'm a little saint, not Juanita. So, okay, well, guys, thank you for watching. For all of you guys that were making comments, thank you. Becky, she says she
Thank
was
you.
diagnosed when my youngest of 7 was 8 months old. Wow. Well, Becky, you're here. Keep fighting. Join us in this.
Yes, please do, Becky.
Join us.
Please do.
Help us be that voice. Um, you know, I'm glad you're here.
And,
God bless you. You have
and
7, Lord Jesus.
7 kids?
7. She goes, yeah, I guess if I'm reading this right, you never brought baby's appearance.
Well, sorry, she peed on me.
Oh, the baby peed on Steve.
That's okay. Oh,
That's the
look
3rd
at
time.
her.
This is my granddaughter, everyone.
Hi.
Say, look at, there goes Auntie
Oh,
Jill.
look
Look at Auntie
it.
Jill. Say, there you go.
Don't
Say
start
hi,
crying
Auntie
now
Jill.
when you see me like you did earlier.
Say hi, Auntie Jill.
No kisses? She's so
Dale
cute. Oh, look at
besito.
those cheeks.
I know.
Oh.
Yeah, she peed all over Steve. You go, girl. You go, girl. So we have Cecilia from Canada. She says she was diagnosed with stage 4 a year ago, and she's looking forward to meeting us in Washington.
Oh,
Yes,
good.
Cecilia, we'll see you there.
Where,
Robin, my comments. I don't know why I could only see it.
oh,
I
can't
got
look at it.
Robin Hardis. I'm sorry if I said your name wrong. She was diagnosed in October of 2016. Robin, join us. Come on, let's be an advocate. She was stage 4 and she is now in remission. Praise God. Hallelujah.
Oh, that's great.
Yes. Let's see. I'm trying to go through all these comments. Jill Hammer Wilson said, thank you for sharing your story of hope. And thank you for the interview, Juanita. You're welcome, honey. We love you too.
You should interview her.
Yeah, she's next. Well, I
Nail
keep
her
telling
down.
I tell everyone to hit me up for interviews and they don't hit me up.
You
All right,
gotta
people.
hit them up.
I know, I'm gonna hit you guys up, but I'm already booking interviews in May. That's how far ahead I am. So do not be afraid to do these interviews. They're fun. And every interview, my husband or someone will bring my granddaughter. She always makes an appearance. But she was late because she peed on grandpa. So so hit me up.
And the interviews are easy. You don't have to be organized. You could just talk.
We're
It's a
not organized. We're just
conversation.
talking. And then they're fun. Then
They
right?
are
And then
fun.
my husband comes in and then he starts, and then we argue. Yeah, people laugh because we're riots. We're crazy like that. Oh, Becky says she's an alkie. All right, Becky, hit me up. We got to talk, girl. And then a girl named Janice. I'm not going to try to say your name, Janice. I'm sorry, sweetheart. Tomorrow night is our first Unmasking Lung Cancer Gala. All right, girl, you go.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Where?
Where, Janice, where and for what organization? We're curious to know. Tomesek, I think it's Tomesek. I can't pronounce last names. Oh, in Toronto, Canada.
Oh, Thomasek? Is it Thomasek?
Oh, yes. Is it Thomasek? Okay, I'm sorry, Janice. I just screwed up your last name. What did I say? Okay, my bad, girl.
You know who she is. You know who she is.
I do?
We met her.
Okay, well,
we
I
met
can't.
Her.
Okay,
we met her.
I
think she's a Canadian. Yeah, we met her in Canada.
Yeah, she is. In Toronto. Okay. She says in Calgary. All right, girl. Well, we wish you the best of luck in your first gala. I hope it's a great success. I'm sending you positive vibes and lots of prayers your way. Let us know on Facebook. Tag us how it went. We would love to know how that goes. And you keep fighting out in Canada. You and all the Canadian girls.
You guys
Keep
are
fighting.
rocking it. Truly, truly.
Yes, they are. Yes, they
I
are.
love
I'm so
it.
proud of you gals. Yes. All right, guys. So we're going to end it. Thank you all for
All
watching.
right.
Please share this
Thank you,
video.
Juanita.
You're
Love you.
welcome, Jill. Thank
Thank
you. I
you.
love you too. Share
Thank
this
you.
video, guys. And tune in for next Thursday. I'll do another one. I just don't remember who I'm interviewing, but don't worry. I will post it. There's so many. I can't keep
That's
track.
good. That's
That
good.
is good. Well, thank you,
All
Jill.
right.
Good night. Good night,
Thank
everyone. God
you. Good
bless
night,
you. And I'll see you
everyone.
all next Thursday.
All righty.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.